Right then, people, we're back inside the building. How are we doing this morning? Welcome back to Breakfast with KXVU. Really enjoying the show so far. We've had a fantastic couple of interviews to kick us off, and now we are back inside the building with two very special guests joining us this morning. We have FaNaTiX in the building. How are you doing, guys?
All good. What's going on, man?
What's good? Thanks for jumping on the phone this morning, guys. I'm really looking forward to getting into this one. Moderately short notice again, but you know what? I'm really looking forward to the discussion because obviously
this is the earliest I've woken up in months.
Well, thank you for getting up and getting involved, man. It's an absolute pleasure to have you both on. So what we're going to be doing today, obviously, is breaking down a bit of background about yourselves because you've been on somewhat of a roll this year. It's been crazy the amount of the high-end tunes you guys have produced, and just hearing about the different things you've been involved with, obviously speaking to you via Instagram, via the DMs and stuff. It's been crazy to do. So what I want to do is kind of get a bit of background on yourself to begin with and ask, like, how did you two first start linking up and making music?
I was introduced to C as an engineer because at the time I was an artist myself and someone recommended his mixing and whatever. And then I found out he was a producer, and at that time I was kind of hitting glass ceilings as an artist. So I thought about putting together a production team. And I ran the idea by him, and he was on it, and we kind of ran with it. That was about 6 years ago, and we ain't looked back since.
Nice, man. So it's been 6 years since you've been working together. So kind of from that, how have you then kind of pushed forward to then end up in this position you're now in, where you are essentially building instrumentals for some of the biggest rappers in the UK?
Yeah, it just became like a word of mouth thing. So we was just putting in the work and just building relationships, networking, and over the time we just managed to get the cuts through word of mouth. People was just like, oh yeah, you heard of FaNaTiX, and then you hear the tag, you hear it on different tracks, so you start to get familiar with the name.
Yeah, it's actually funny. The whole networking and reaching out thing never works for us. It's always people coming to us and saying they want to work with us.
Wow. That must be quite like a pleasing thing to have, where you're kind of going, you know what, people are coming to us rather than us having to kind of search around.
Yeah, it is, because it's like we've messaged people and then we don't ever hear anything back, and then like a year or two later they'll get in touch with us via management, and then when we're in the session with them, I'll actually pull up the DM and say, look, you realise that I messaged you 2 years ago, and they're like, no way, slow down.
You know what, that must be quite a satisfying thing to be able to do, though, to kind of go, you know what, we've been here. Definitely,
just watching the awkward response.
All right, cool. Okay, cool. So kind of moving forward then, obviously looking at 2020 as a year, it's been somewhat of an unusual year, to say the least. There's been a lot that's been happening. And obviously, as a production duo, how have you found that sort of scenario of obviously having lockdowns and social distancing? How have you found that in regards to building music?
It's definitely played a part in kind of hindering things a little bit, but where a lot of things can be done online nowadays,
remotely.
And with this lockdown, the studios aren't, so we're in this one we're able to operate as normal. But yeah, the third one is kind of something across Jamaica, America,
flights. Yeah.
Interesting, man. So kind of with that, like moving forward then, with this second lockdown, obviously it's more kind of business as usual at the moment in regards to like building instrumentals for people. Just kind of, just to get a bit of a backstory on this, like 2020, who are some of the names you have worked with over the course of this year? Because the list is crazy.
So we got a couple of songs on Popcorn's project under OVO. Chips. Chip's got a project coming, but we did work that Ignite tune with Dizzy and JME. Obviously, Salieu, Backroad, G. We done
Golden Brown, I was gonna say.
That was good too. So Golden Brown with Skepta and Young Ads and Chip. We did that too. We got 5 or 6 on Dutch's new project. Bedroom Bully with Miss Banks.
Size with Miss Banks and Quenface.
Yeah.
I mean, the list is absolutely crazy when you actually sit back for a second and go, wow, there's just banger after banger. The thing is, every tune you've named there, we've played that on the show. We've played that on the show. We've played that on the show. So when you then kind of sit back and go, that's a catalogue and a half. Do you ever kind of sit back and go, wow, like we're building something special here?
Do you know what? We ain't got time to. The building we're trying to build is like it's a city. So
different empire.
Nothing really. We don't get time to even just kind of rest on our laurels and get complacent. There are so many people that are very talented that are trying to get in our position. We just got to continue pushing and building, man.
Amazing, man. Well, it's been wicked to kind of see the progress so far, and not even that, just the consistency you guys are working at. So obviously one of the biggest tunes of the year. I've absolutely loved playing this tune on Breakfast. I've loved supporting it. Obviously I did put a reaction video together for this tune. My family, obviously Salieu and Backroad G. The response to this tune has been out of this world. How have you found everything?
Wicked. Like it actually turned into a thing where I was like, no, I need to, when I'm eating food or whatever, I'll just watch a response video, because it's just funny to see what people from different places in the world that don't even fully understand what's being said react to it, and just the energy. And your one stood out. That's how we even ended up chopping it.
Yeah, that's how we started talking.
I just saw the passion in your video. I was just like, yeah, this guy's sick.
Oh,
I was actually putting together a making of at the time. When I thought, I said, this is perfect. The way he's announced this song, I need to use it as the intro because it's too dope.
Well, thank you, man. I do appreciate it. And obviously getting that support from someone in my position where we're kind of just kind of trying to appreciate the music as well. Obviously seeing your guys' response to that was absolutely amazing. And I've got to say, really uplifted the day I was having. I remember I wasn't having the best day at the time, but to see the response was kind of awesome. So you spoke kind of...
to hear that, man, because likewise, when watching that, it lifted my day. So that's what it's about.
I'm glad. I'm really glad. So
because we're studio hermits like that, we don't really get to hear much of what other people might say or whatever, how you lot view it from the outside, basically. So yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, I'm very glad to be of assistance, as it were. So kind of moving forward with that, you've spoken briefly there about building this sort of making of video. So talk to me about that. What's the sort of plan with it?
Well, a lot of the times we capture things behind the scenes, and we just happen to we captured the making of that beat anyway. And then separately, we managed to capture the session with Salieu and Backroad G. It wasn't all of it, but it was just certain times when we were in sessions, we'll just switch on our GoPros and try and do it kind of how we're seeing it in the session. So we got their whole thought process when they were putting together their verses and vibing, and then a bit of them recording it, and then it chops into the video and everything, and some dance routines, because like Ashley Banjo done a dance routine to it and all of that. So it's kind of just the process of the beat being made to people's reaction when it's out.
Amazing, man. Well, I mean, this is a tune we've been running heavily on the show and on Trickstar in general. It's been in heavy rotation. It's in the conversation for UK Rap Tune of the Year for me. Just because of one, obviously the instrumental having the dip it does, and then obviously those two having the chemistry they have over it, the video behind it as well. Just everything about the tune it really is kind of standout. And something I did want to ask you guys, purely out of from a kind of production point of view, is whenever I hear a FaNaTiX tune, there's some kind of unusual element or something a little bit quirky going on, like an unusual bit of instrumentation always in there. Is that something you guys do consciously, or is it something that just seems to happen? Very intentional.
It's intentional, man. We just make what we like, so we like that kind of stuff. That's what the things that people hear and say, "Oh, what is that?" That's what we do. Like, we like that, so we keep that in our music.
Wicked, man. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to get into this track next from, obviously, Salieu and Backroad. It goes by the name of My Family. Just while I've got you on the line, we're going to jump into a bit more conversation afterwards, of course. But while I've got you on the line, I do want to make sure people are able to find you via social media platforms. So what is the best way for people to kind of find out what you're doing and follow you?
Probably Instagram, and that's at FaNaTiX Online. That's FaNaTix ONLINE. That's one word.
Wicked, man. Are you quite active on Insta?
We try to be. We're so busy literally in the studio. Sometimes we forget, like, shit. I mean, we should have posted that, but it just don't happen sometimes.
It's one of them ones. You know what? At the end of the day, you know what? As long as the music is as good as it has been, I don't think anyone can have any complaints regardless. So there we go. We're going to crack on with this one now then. Just gone 9:45 here on Trickstar Radio. You are locked into Breakfast with Kovu. We're in the building till 10 and we are on the line with FaNaTiX this morning. Make sure you're keeping it locked. If you haven't already, make sure you go and download that Trickstar Radio app and hit us up at KXVU, at Trickstar BTN. Oh yes.
Breakfast with CubCamTV.
Trickstar Radio.